Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcoming back our globe-trotting NeuroNerd co-host.
Your savior is here.
That's right. Lauren L. Manzano, globe-trotting NeuroNerd.
Loki status.
Insert Lauren kick noise here. Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Lauren.
And we are
The NeuroNerds. Yes, that was on time.
I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good about that.
NeuroNerds.
So, Lauren, I've missed you. First off, welcome to the NeuroNerds.
Thank you for welcoming me back to this.
Well, no, I'm just saying,
the only thing I'm a part of.
I was saying it for everybody.
Oh, hi guys.
So Lauren's back after a lengthy hiatus of being awesome and traveling the world. And to be honest, what I kind of gather, you were being real life Lara Croft.
I'm okay with that.
Right? You're like raiding tombs in Spain. Are there tombs in Spain?
I mean, there's tombs everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, okay, speaking of like tombs, probably one of the coolest places, if anyone has ever wanted to see turn of the century, like 1800s kind of thing, mausoleum art. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a very famous above ground cemetery in Buenos Aires in Argentina called La Recoleta. It is one of the most famous places and has some of the most beautiful mausoleum art.
Does it have La Llorona?
No, that's Mexican, bro.
I don't know.
You'll have like Eva Perón. She has her...
She sounds familiar.
Evita.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Madonna played her.
Oh, yeah.
But Eva Perón has her mausoleum there, and there's like a theory, like apparently her body was there, like it was stolen.
Mm-hmm. Wait, they stole her body?
Yeah, like there's like it was stolen. It was this big controversy. It was like, is she there? Is she not there? And I believe when I was there, I was reading that they said that they entombed her back into her mausoleum and they poured cement over it so no one could steal her body.
Wow. Wait, so they stole the body, found the body, and then buried it again?
Mm-hmm.
That's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird.
Eva Perón.
That's up there with like poltergeists.
I mean, Eva Perón was married to her husband who was in charge of Argentina for a long time. I cannot remember his first name. But like, the whole thing is like some people loved her, other people she was like reviled. So like, again, it's like Marie Antoinette. It's like
you know what it was? She was the yin and yang of life.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
That's what I've been feeling about life.
But yes,
lately.
if you need somewhere to go, if you really like art and stuff like that, like La Recoleta in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, is awesome. If you enjoy listening to this podcast, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on the Apple Podcast app. Your reviews help us grow and reach more listeners like you.
Find us by searching for the NeuroNerds on the Apple Podcast app today. So you traveled to Spain, right?
Yes.
Where did you hit when you were in there? Or
I
were
just went back to Granada.
Oh, so nice. I saw the pictures.
Yes.
I saw some of your pictures, like the photo shoot that you did. You look amazing.
Thank you. That was my 30th birthday photo shoot. So yes, I am 30, guys. Last time I talked to you guys, I was 29.
She was a baby.
I was 29,
Now
guys.
she's a mature woman.
Yay.
Who plays Baldur's Gate.
Yes.
Nerd.
Guys, like 30 didn't hit me until I was so I'm applying for a pole competition in Spain. And it did not hit me that I was 30 until they asked me like on the application, not like when your birthday is, but what age are you?
Seriously.
And I wrote in 30 and I was like, oh my God, I'm 30.
Like physically though.
It's already started.
You look
my knees
amazing.
Hurt.
Yeah.
I woke up, my knees hurt from kicking people.
From kicking people and kicking those kids off my lawn.
Right?
Oh, Lady Lauren.
Right? Yes.
Stay off my lawn.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy to have you back here. And I'm actually happy that there's a barrier between us because it's, I fear you a little bit less.
I haven't done anything
You
yet.
don't have to,
I've been here
Lauren.
5 minutes.
So you have, and those 5 minutes were recorded on an a live
Actually,
Insta story.
It was like 29
Was
minutes.
it? Was it? Yeah. So we did our first is that Instagram Live? Instagram TV? I don't know what that is.
Instagram Live.
Yeah.
Ooh, we should do Insta TV.
We should. Yeah, on NeuroNerd podcast Saturdays, we should absolutely do that. So it was cool because we got to talk to a bunch of people, and you guys got to see me being idiot and Lauren be awesome.
Yes.
Right? That's kind of like the balance that we have.
The yin and yang.
It's the yin and yang of life. So
of
yeah,
the NeuroNerds.
I've absolutely missed you tremendously. I said this on one of the episodes. I was like, yeah, like Lauren's part of like my routine. That's not the only reason. You're family, and I love you, and I'm so happy that you're here. You actually make me feel physically and mentally better. You know what I mean?
I can barely see you over this right now.
Yeah. Do you want to know why? Because you're short.
I'm short, and I don't have heels on.
you don't.
But what we're going to do, guys, because it's been a hot minute since we've had a like a nerdy episode.
Yeah. We've been doing like deep episodes because of like all the crazy shit that's happened with me.
Well, yes, and also the really good interviews and stuff and story sharing.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do? Heroin? No? Oh yeah, my bad. I went somewhere else with that again.
Crickets, please, crickets. But no. So during our Instagram live video, a couple of you guys jumped on and like we were like, what should we talk about? And we got onto this huge conversation about universes and multi-dimensions.
Yes.
And how can we relate the actual science? Because we were talking like actual science, like, do we live in a simulation? Hello, Matrix.
Yeah, we met some geeks.
Blade Runner, like all this, right? And then we were talking about like, wait a second, let's get into Endgame because fucking Marvel, guys, is doing another cash grab if you weren't aware.
Side note. If you weren't aware, Disney's Marvel Studios is re-releasing Avengers Endgame with bonus footage and an after-credits scene on June 28th.
Yeah, so Marvel is like, oh yeah, Avatar, we're coming for you.
Well,
yes, we own you. Disney owns them.
Yes.
But we want like the Disney Marvel property to like take over.
They're like, James Cameron, go away. Right?
So,
you have Titanic and you have Avatar. You can't have both, okay?
Right. Yeah. You had aliens too.
Yeah, right? They're like, James Cameron, just stop. So, but yeah, so we're going to talk about like multi-dimensions and multi-universes. There is some comic book writer I'm going to look up who like says he's inspired by the fifth dimension aliens that talk to him.
Yeah,
I'm going to go find out who this guy is real
because
quick.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. See, fifth dimension. Come on. No? All right. So like speaking of like Spider-Verse, we're not speaking about Spider-Verses, but different universes.
Yeah.
So the Spider-Verse, which is basically I don't know, what do you call that? Like in DC, it's infinite Earths.
It's a multiverse.
Yeah, DC, it's infinite Earths. Marvel, it's the multiverse.
Yes.
In Spider-Man, it's the Spider-Verse because it's all like the different versions of Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2099, Spider-Pig, all Spider-Pig does whatever a Spider-Pig does. So it's all of those. So they did that in Into the Spider-Verse. Like that was like the beginning. And apparently they're going to be working on bringing Venom into the actual MCU and like crossing that version of Spider-Man over.
Yeah, I think
it's really weird.
Yeah, but I'm like, how are they going to like, I want to see how they rectify that or reconcile it with Tom Hardy's like version,
weird.
Right?
It's weird.
With the symbiote. Well, at the same time though, I would like them to see like Venom Tom Hardy and like Bane Tom Hardy. Like that would be the ultimate crossover, right?
That would be kind of cool. It would kind of make sense in Infinite Earths because at some point a guy who looked exactly like that would be that guy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like I want to see that. Or like Green Lantern and Deadpool, right? I know Deadpool acknowledges that.
That was hilarious.
Right? I would love to see the crossovers. I mean, these would never happen with the different companies that own everything.
That's true.
But
we never thought that the X-Men would be back home with Marvel.
But I'm talking also like, let's cross like Captain Kirk with Steve, what's his face from Wonder Woman.
That would,
right?
Oh, that would be amazing.
All the Chris's that play everything. Like,
right.
Or like
Hemsworth,
Johnny Karate and Star-Lord.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Fan
Burt
fiction.
Macklin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fan fiction. Start writing it.
I mean, you're not wrong. Joe, you're so sweet. That shit already like lives. Like that's already real.
Do you think that is, like, are you just guessing or is that like a thing? Are people like, not shipping. See, I've been away from this, Lauren.
Yes.
Are people doing fan fiction about Johnny Karate and Star-Lord?
I'm sure I would. And I say that in all like here. I'm going to look this up.
If there were only a device that we had in the palm of our hands that had every answer to every question ever.
So we'll make this your educational fan fiction moment. Okay. So there's a couple very well-known fan fiction sites. You can do fanfiction.net and these are all free. And the other one's called Archive of Our Own.
Which one's your favorite?
Right now I prefer Archive of Our Own because I tend to find higher quality fanfics on there. and they have to parse through less like crap.
Oh.
But what's really nice is how searchable it is, and like where I can find specific ships or specific alternate universes. Like one of my favorite alternate universes is Coffee Shop AU, where it's like one of my favorites is like if Steve Rogers was like a barista or owned like a bakery.
Stop,
and
Lauren.
like and then it was a neat, cute, romantic comedy where like Bucky is like a veteran coming back and they just bond at the coffee shop. Like it's so cute.
And they have like emotional service, goats, and right?
No. So there's this really famous comic on Tumblr where Bucky has a service dog that is that huge Russian bear dog. Something. It's very well known. It's a huge dog. It's a Russian dog.
It's like the Mastiff? Is it like that big?
No, it's bigger than that.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It kills bears.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It starts with an O. But they named him Fubar.
Oh.
Right? So Bucky's service dog is named Fubar. Yeah.
Bucky.
I love that.
Oh,
Speaking of service animals, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
so what is the random ship we're looking for? It's Johnny Karate.
Can I tell you how much I've missed this type of nerdum? Like it's a different scale. You know what I mean? Like we have to weigh and we have to quantify your nerdum completely differently than like your average everyday
Yeah,
nerd.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's really bizarre because those kids that were doing that podcast that we were chatting with.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, Lauren's a nerd.
I'm sorry, guys. All right, so I'm looking up Johnny Karate.
I love Johnny Karate.
You know what? I'm probably not going to find Johnny Karate. I have to find him by Andy Dwyer.
Yeah, there are a lot of Chris's. So it's Chris Hemsworth, Thor, Chris Evans, Captain America, Chris Pratt, Star-Lord. Wasn't there one more Chris?
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine.
The Chris's. They're all interchangeable white men.
So my Chris Pine was, he was a...
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I searched it. I was like, maybe I wouldn't be able to find this. But I found, wow. Okay, it's called Meteor Shower Jamboree. And it's an Andy Dwyer. It has Andy Dwyer, Leslie Knope, Gamora, Peter Quill.
Stop.
Yes.
Oh my.
Oh, okay, I'm just going to read this. And the idea is that, Andy Dwyer from Parks and Recs, talking about multi-dimensions, is having dreams as Star-Lord. And slowly they're converging into one being.
That's actually, you know what? Not for that, but that's actually a dope concept.
That's a dope premise, right?
That really is.
Like, imagine it's, again, the alternate realities or like the idea that we live in parallel universes.
Oh, you know what that reminds me of? That like how like the dreams are kind of like, it reminds me of the Animatrix. Did you ever see the Animatrix?
Oh, yes, I did.
Do you remember the kid that was like daydreaming? And
yes.
Yeah.
The other thing it made me think of was The Cell, that like scary horror movie with
D'Onofrio, right? Yeah.
He's creepy as fuck. But like
more sugar.
No, bro, no.
I love D'Onofrio.
But that's a cool segue into looking at some of these multi-universes or just think about it. Like if you had these like almost like a convergence, like like the Dark World kind of shitty convergence, right? But is that you had that idea of like these different universes bumping each other? Talking about science, though.
Yeah, let me ask you a question though. Do you believe, like, just in our everyday reality? Do you believe in alternate realities?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's an idea that there's multi-universes out there. Like, there's one idea like all the little universes are put in bubbles, but they're saying like one evidence of like a possible theory. So if you look at the cosmic, what's it called? Background radiation. CPM, is that what it's called? The cosmic background radiation of the universe, right? So they were actually able to like measure the heat of the universe, and it's supposed to be pretty balanced. Like you can see certain areas are hotter, certain areas are colder. I mean, it's how it's spread from the Big Bang. But there's this place called the Great Cold Spot, right? And so no one can really explain why it's so cold there.
Where
like,
everything
there's no
else
reason.
is.
Well, depending on how it's been spread, like that cold spot's too big. It's unbalanced and it shouldn't be that cold. So one of the theories is that's where another universe has bumped it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
They ran into each other a little bit. Like there was a meld. And that's why it's cold, because the energy got taken out of it.
So there's like some really bugged out stuff that's happening in that area.
Who knows? Like, but that's where it's like so cool, like where you start exploring multi-universes, multi-dimensions.
So in that area is where Bucky and Cap are hanging out with their goats.
Yes, the goats.
You can't forget about the goats.
The goats.
So yeah, like I was
Surface goats.
I was talking about There was somebody about like the infinite. I was talking to Trip, about like the infinite realities.
Mhm.
You know, and he's like, I just don't see that. I was like, yeah, but I do. Like in another reality, we're sitting opposite directions.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And in another reality, like I decided to have tea instead of coffee, which is something I would never
Yes.
do unless that tea is iced.
But yeah, so when we're talking about this, it's also the idea, again, in fandom where you have alternate universes, right? Because again, that's where that comes from. And again, alternate timelines where, again, my argument about Endgame, again, everyone thinks I love
So good.
the movie. It was amazing. I almost used the word perfect. It was so well acted. I mean, really, like you guys heard on the episode, I watched it in Spanish and I still got emotional, even with confusing Tony Stark and Steve Rogers voice actors. They sounded so similar.
That really makes me uncomfortable that it's because I know their voices.
Yeah.
Just hearing them in different voices, that would make me feel so weird.
But could you imagine, like, here I am not hearing the voices that I associate with these characters, but it was so well acted and so well done that I still was reacting to it as if it was them. I was crying my eyes out in the theater.
It's almost like that's a different reality. In a different reality,
that's a stretch, but okay.
Those are the different actors that actually play them.
Sure. But in that idea, like, again, my issue with Endgame, again, no one could decide how the time and travel worked. Okay.
Yeah.
That was my issue. No one could decide. Yes, Felice, there is a video that explains it and tries to, but it's not canon because the Russos have one idea and the writers had another. And even if they go and retcon and say, okay, it was this, the idea is when they were writing the damn movie, no one knew what was happening.
Right.
It's like Game of Thrones.
It is.
All disappointment.
Yeah, it's like Game of Thrones. Somebody should have been beheaded.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, again, I love 98% of the movie. I've already
so basically
discussed why I was sad with the 2%, but I'm over it.
Basically,
really.
Endgame is like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Like, oh wow, it's really good. You just don't know how to land the plane.
Yeah, that's a really good way to do it. But speaking of M. Night Shyamalan, you might have noticed the new trend in like film are cinematic universes. Like, I'm kind of over it. Like, not every movie has to be like connected.
No.
Now, if you're doing a trilogy, right? Like John Wick,
right?
That's a trilogy. That's amazing. That's awesome. That is not a cinematic universe.
No.
That is a story, right?
You can't put John Wick and, oh yeah, but he's also, this movie takes place in the same world as Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Right. I can't wait for that next movie to come out.
Right.
There's another Bill and Ted coming out. Reunion. Yeah, I think it's in 2020.
It's like official.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah. But like the M. Night Shyamalan universe, right? Yes. That's Glass. That's Unbreakable. That's what's the McAvoy movie? Split. Right?
Yeah,
so all of these are in the same universe, right? And I feel like that's a lot of stretch happening, right?
It is. Like, it seemed like, again, on paper, it's like, oh wow, this is going to be amazing. But then it wasn't.
No.
You know? It's like, it's a good idea in theory. But like laying it out is very difficult. The only people that have been doing it successfully so far is Marvel. That's it.
And one of the arguments up until Endgame is the idea that Marvel respected its characters, that the characters determined the plot, not the plots determined the characters.
Right.
Like a lot of DC and other movies that are trying to create cinematic, even like The Nun and The Conjuring, that's all part of a cinematic universe, right?
Yes. It's
like,
the Conjuring verse.
Yeah.
Right?
Which again, it's like, really, do we need another cinematic universe? But so Marvel always I was about to say más o menos in Spanish, but like more or less respected some of the source material, or at least was able to extrapolate and create the MCU version that was still similar. Like you could respect and be like, okay, I guess so. The MCU does this version.
Yeah, they changed this because of this. Like it all made sense.
It made sense. And so they were able to also have internal consistency more or less in their movies. Again, there was some character assassination in Endgame, but whatever. More or less, the MCU has done a great job of contributing or giving us a consistent product,
right?
Which is why we will go and give money to our Disney overlords.
Yes,
right?
just take my money, Disney.
Yeah, I mean, even though Endgame coming out again is going to be a cash grab, we're all going to go see it again.
7 extra minutes.
I mean, I need to see it in English. I still haven't seen it in English.
That's crazy.
And I don't know if I want to see it in English.
Oh, no, you kind of do.
It was so amazing in Spanish.
Well, yeah. Yeah. For me, been so weird.
Maybe that'll be a challenge. I'll watch it in English, watch it in Spanish.
Oh my, that's going to be so bizarre.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But again, that's why if you're able to execute it well, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter how well it works on paper, as long it's all about the execution in this day and age. So like the M. Night Shyamalan universe, okay, sounds great. didn't really pay off.
No.
The Conjuring universe.
It's like, all right, well, this guy was in that movie, so that movie is attached to this. Right.
Or the Monsterverse, right? Which was the who did that?
The Dark Universe?
Yeah, the Dark Universe.
Yeah, no, the Mummy.
Like they were immediately like, God damn it, can we sell this?
It's like, all right, we're going to make this giant universe. Oh, this movie sucked? Cancel the entire universe.
Exactly.
So weird. It's like, you know what it is? Even Justice League got screwed by that. They did all this stuff in like 3 movies. And it's like, yeah, be excited about this big culmination of these 3 movies and these characters that you just met. It failed because it was only a handful of movies. Marvel had years. They had sequels to create these characters, make you fall in love with them so you understand this big, giant event that's happening.
I agree, but I also think the reason Justice League really failed was, again, what Marvel did well, which is character consistency.
Yes.
Because all of a sudden, like take Wonder Woman, right? Wonder Woman as a movie was this landmark film, right? It is amazing. It is one of the best comic book movies.
Powerful.
It is the best DC movie. I think it's better than Man of Steel.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
And Man of Steel is like, that was their best.
Yeah,
and so Wonder Woman was better than that. And they created these characters to have certain, like there was their values.
Right.
This is how they function, blah, blah, blah. And that's who these characters were. These were in their solo movies, what we were given. Suddenly we were given a ensemble movie, which was fine. They're competing. But all of a sudden the characters lose everything they were.
Completely
like Wonder
different.
Woman, her motivation was never her man. Her motivation was protecting life, protecting humanity. Like Steve was like, okay, but like at the end, it was her mission that was the most important thing.
Right.
Then we get Wonder Woman in freaking Justice League, and all she can think about is, oh, there was a man I love that would have loved to see this. Oh, I miss my Steve, blah, blah. I'm like, girl, what happened? You're like that girl who broke up with her boyfriend and all she can think about is him. You got lost in that relationship of 5 minutes.
In her defense, Chris Pine is dreamy. Have you ever looked in his eyes?
I don't think he's the hottest Chris.
Wait, are you serious?
No, he is not the hottest Chris.
Man, wait.
Of the Chris's we just outlined.
No, I'm thinking. Chris Evans. I'll go Chris Evans.
Yeah, I'm like, I think he's good looking. I think he's the 3rd hottest Chris.
The 3rd?
Chris Hemsworth. I could lick my way up those abs.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That is so descriptive. Oh my God,
Welcome
Lauren.
back, Lauren.
You just made me blush.
Yep.
I'm so happy. That brought me so much joy. Thanks to our sponsor, Avid Technology, for providing us with the tools, or should I say pro tools, to record, edit, and mix our podcast and get our message out clearly to the world.
Try Avid first to start recording today for free at avid.com/pro-tools.
Yay. But yeah, like it's a bummer that they're, you know what it is? It's like you're always trying to, what's the term? Keeping up with the Joneses?
Yeah, they're playing catch up.
Yeah.
Actually, that was a movie Gal Gadot was into.
Was she in that movie?
Yeah, I think it was with John Hamm.
Yes.
They played Secret Agent. That's actually, the movie was okay.
Oh, I think I saw that like right after I got out of the hospital. So
I think it has
vaguely
Rose
remember
Byrne and not Galifianakis, but one of the other like
one
interchangeable funny guys.
One of those guys. That's really, well, because like, you know, studios always compete. So like now it's like Warner Brothers and they're competing with like Disney.
Right.
Like before, like for every Armageddon, there's a Deep Impact.
Oh, I loved Armageddon.
Or
Volcano, there was
Volcano. All right, which one's yours? Is it Volcano or Dante's Peak?
I love Volcano. It doesn't make any sense scientifically. Nothing works. Anne Hesh was a horrible volcanologist,
but it works so well. It
was amazing. Tommy Lee Jones in his prime as this like action hero.
You know what's crazy? He's always looked the same.
He does. I love Tommy.
He looks like he's made of stone. You know what I mean? Like his face is like carved out of granite.
Yeah.
And he's just had that face since he was like born.
Yeah.
I really like Dante's Peak too, because I'm a big fan of Pierce Brosnan.
Yes.
There was a scene, and I remember the scene, like I was younger, and I was like, why am I feeling so emotional? It was like the person that saved, I think, his kid, and he was walking in the bubbling water and he ended up dying.
Yeah.
But like he was like, ah! And I was like, oh my God, it's so emotional. It's like Armageddon.
Well, speaking of Volcano, did you know that, when the guy jumps off the train and throws the body and he like melts into the lava? You actually don't drown in lava. You won't melt into it.
No?
The lava is denser than humans, so you'll actually float on top and then you'll kind of like burn to death up there.
Fun fact.
Oh my God. So you'll end up looking like the
Smeagol.
Ring.
Yeah. It's like Schmeagol drowned. You'll be more like the Ring, where it'll form a little crust under you and you just basically asphyxiate from all the poison gas and like the 5,000 degree temperature. Like, that's why.
I'm so happy you're back, Lauren.
I'm like, let me science check this, bro.
Science check.
Do you even science, bro?
I know. I was like, speaking of Pierce Brosnan, I was watching Tomorrow Never Dies.
So, yeah. Wait, is that the one where he was like skiing? Like jet skiing?
I think so. It had Michelle Yeoh in it.
Oh, I love her
too.
Much. She's so
but
good.
There was the final fight scene, and so she's trying to break some like electronics or something. So she's taking her gun and she's smashing it like against the butt of the rifle against the thing. Do you know what? I don't know who the sound designer was. You know what sound they used to like for breaking electronics? It was breaking ceramic.
Seriously?
Like it was like plates crashing. I'm like, bro, I think you picked the wrong button when you were choosing sounds.
You know, at the tail end of that, Pierce Brosnan's interpretation of James Bond, it went a little south.
It did.
It did.
I do love Pierce Brosnan.
No joke. Still enjoyed those movies immensely.
Yes.
They're not good.
No.
Still enjoyed them.
They were products of their time.
They were Michael Keaton's Batman. They were Batman and Robin.
Yes.
They were Val Kilmer's Batman. Like that was cool for that time.
Yeah.
You know, like if you look back at like
Schumacher's Batman was never cool, but
you're not a big fan of bat nipples?
No, I'm actually not. Especially how pronounced they were. I was like, bro, is it cold?
It was weird. Can I tell you the weirdest scene for me with Robin is when he was like doing kung fu stuff when he was doing laundry. Do you remember? That was so weird. Like he's like, oh yeah, so I'm gonna like with my foot wring this out. It's so strange. It was so strange. But I guess, you know, you being a martial artist, is that how you train?
Yes.
I assume when you're doing laundry, you do it exactly like
especially
Robin
with,
does.
Like
Batman
my leggings, you know, it becomes like it's an attempt to be like I got to throw them midair and I got to like aim for that little hole. You know, it's like a watermelon shooting through.
So yeah, wait. So are we living in a multiverse or are we living in a simulation?
Well, so again, that's the ultimate question. Let's go back down to the Matrix, right? That's a really like interesting take, an example of trying to explain like what is the inconsistencies in this universe and why are there inconsistencies? And we live in a simulation?
I think we need to talk to the Merovingian. That was my favorite guy. Because he was just like, hey, man, I just want to party. I just want to have fun.
Well, see, and I liked Persephone.
She's,
Monica Bellucci.
She's beautiful.
Stunning. Like, oh, my God. And I love that she was a Bond girl.
Wait. Mm-hmm. Which one?
Monica Bellucci. In the latest one that came out, she was a Bond girl.
Was she?
Yeah.
God, I don't remember that.
How do you not? That was like a big thing, was like the Bond girl was in her 50s.
I did have Okay.
Yeah.
Joe remembers now. Sometimes it just takes, the guy a little bit longer to bring that information.
Well, and I
forward.
remember like the stupid media asked Daniel Craig and was like, oh, how do you feel like the Bond girl's older than you? And he's like, it's Monica Bellucci.
She's
like if you get a chance to work with Monica Bellucci and like make out, like who says no?
You know what? I would feel the exact same way about Helen Mirren today. Helen Mirren is banging.
I love her in Red, like the Red series.
She's really good, right?
Yeah.
No, I love her in a 2-piece bikini.
All right.
Seriously?
I haven't seen.
Yes. Banging.
All right.
Like she's like I always had like weird lists. So it'd be like, oh yeah, this list
like
is
who you'd go gay for.
George Clooney.
Yep.
He did touch my butt.
Yes, we've heard this story multiple times.
Hey, it makes me happy.
Continue.
Every time I go into like the Nespresso store, they have like on the wall like a big giant George Clooney picture. And I'm like, yeah, I do touch my butt. Thank you to our amazing community on Patreon for supporting this podcast.
You can support us too and get different perks and gifts depending on which Neuro Jedi tier you sign up for. For example, if you're on our Neuro Padawan $5 tier, then you're probably listening to this episode a day early before its public release.
Your support helps us grow and continue to create this podcast. Plus, a portion of the proceeds go to a different cause or individual in the brain injury survivor community each month. Sign up at patreon.com/the NeuroNerds.
But pulling it back, right, to the idea of simulation. So what does it mean, like, if we live in a simulation, that this is all a computer? There's also, it comes into like, who's running the simulation?
Yeah.
Some of the theories is like, what if our like Earth, our people have died?
Oh.
And who's ever found either some sort of like microchip with all the information of our world, or like they have the technology, they found our DNA and they're recreating it to see how we functioned as a society.
So I have a question for you then.
Mm-hmm.
Would you if you were in Cypher's position in the Matrix,
Mm-hmm.
would you stay in the Matrix, or would you say, because it's like, hey, I'm eating this this delicious steak
But
and it
it's not
tastes
real.
like a delicious steak. It's not real, but to me, everything about it is as real as this conversation. Or would you say, I don't want that. I'm going to live the quote unquote, I'm going to be in the real world, but then everything is horrible and they're eating that gruel,
So I'm going to school nerd this up for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to school nerd this up.
So you're going to learn the hell out
Yeah,
of
I'm going to
this.
learn the hell out of this. So I was a TA when I was in college at Seoul National University, which is the #1 university in Korea.
Shout out to Seoul.
Right? And so one of the classes that I was a TA for was History and Society of Modern China through Film and Media. I knew nothing about the subject. I was given the textbook 2 days before class started and said, good luck.
And 48 hours later,
seriously.
mastered it.
But one of the things we studied, there's a philosopher from, oh God, please don't kill me, guys, if you know this. I cannot remember if he was against Mao or pro Mao, because I know this, I think this came out in the 40s. But his name was Lu Xun, and he said a parable, which was about, imagine if you were if you were in a house and you woke up and it was a house all bricked up. There's no way in, there's no way out. There's no windows, there's no doors. It is just a brick house. So you wake up and you look around and everyone else is asleep in the house. And then you realize the house is on fire. Do you wake the people up and, and let them realize the house is on fire and they're going to die?
Oh my!
Or do you let them die in their sleep?
This is morbid.
But that was the idea. And it had to do, I believe it had to do, if I remember correctly, Lu Xun was a proponent of communism. So it was the idea of waking up in the brick house in this horrible society that was created by the old imperial system and the little governments that came after,
right,
and how horrible the life was for the people. Do you wake them up so they can see how horrible it is? Or do you let them continue living on in the false belief? Ignorance is bliss.
Right.
Right.
Well, do you want to die like do you want to die like Trinity in the Matrix when she died before she came back? Or do you want to die like Twitch?
Exactly.
Twitch or Switch? No, like this.
Mouse.
No, the
yeah.
The androgynous.
Yeah.
No, like this.
Yeah.
She literally, they just unplugged her and she died.
But so it's that idea of like, do you want awareness or not?
Right. Yeah. Is ignorance really bliss?
I think it is. I think ignorance is bliss.
So you would be Cypher. You would just plug me back in.
I don't know because I like to know things.
Yeah. Right. Like the unknown is getting out of the Matrix and figuring all that out. That's unknown.
Yes.
In the Matrix.
That is seeking knowledge.
Yeah. I think that's what we do.
So all I do is seek knowledge.
Yeah. So you would definitely unplug for sure.
Yeah, I would probably unplug. And then again, the question becomes, do I then knowingly go back? Can I exist that way? I don't know. Ooh. That would be interesting.
It would be awesome.
If I knew what was really going on, but I chose.
You would be living the dream, like an actual dream. Like when you're in a dream and you realize you're dreaming, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Imagine if that was just life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could fly now.
Yeah.
You would be like Neo. You would be Neo.
If you live in a simulation, right? Is it your individual simulation, right? Am I talking to you guys and everything in front of me and you guys are simulated, right? Oh. That's why they say like sometimes. So in astronomy, there's something where you can't look at stuff beyond a certain degree of magnitude or something. Also, same things like there's oh my God, brain injury. I can't think of the word, but there's the idea is there's certain things where you cannot know its place and time or something like that. When you look at certain things very small, you cannot know two things about it. And one has to do, it's like you cannot know its location in space and time. Oh man, I really wish I remembered this off the top of my head. But it's that idea, like when you look at it, you cannot know that. You cannot know its velocity or something like that. Anyways, and its mass or something. But it's that idea, they're saying it's like with computer games, with rendering, right? When you're playing a video game, right? Like a first person shooter or something like that.
Right.
If you look around the video game, you can still see it rendering. Right. It's not completely clear. Everything in front of you looks amazing. But as you turn your gaze in the video game, then it has to render. Right. Because why would you waste the energy, right? Making sure everything was perfect at all times. Right. If it's not a waste of energy.
Right. So if I turn really fast, do you think like behind me it's all pixelated?
No, behind you is the boogeyman.
Stop.
El Cucuy is right there for you. El Cucuy.
Yeah, El Cuco's right in front of me.
Thank you.
So we talked about like verses and everything. So Into the Spider-Verse, for me, one of the best superhero movies, period.
Yes.
Amazing, super dope. It was great. Apparently, they're working on doing that, but like on the big screen with, what's his name? Tom Holland's Spider-Man character, along with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man character and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man character. Andrew Garfield. I would lose my mind because it would be amazing. And Andrew Garfield is a very attractive man.
And he's an excellent actor.
I still haven't seen The Social Network.
I haven't seen him in The Social Network. I saw him in Hacksaw Ridge. Ugh.
Oh, I heard it was good.
It was an amazing movie.
Am I gonna cry?
Yes.
Those movies I love, but like I like ugly cry.
Beautiful. It was beautiful.
Well, again, I think it's been established. Joe is not an attractive crier, but I like ugly cry during those movies. Yes. Right? Oh my God, it sounded like I was dying. What is going on there?
But yeah, so Spider-Man, Far From Home, right? Far From Home is coming out July 2nd.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, really close to Joe's day of birth.
I know. The day the world wept.
The day the earth stood still. Keanu Reeves. Yeah.
Continue.
Anyway.
But yeah, so the new Spider-Man movie is coming out. This is the first Marvel movie in the new phase.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there was this really weird leaked after credit scene thing. It looks super legit. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's going to be attached to Spider-Man or the Avengers, but it looked like the after credit scene was talking about Secret Wars. Like it had the big A and it said Secret Wars.
That's cool.
So that would be like Endgame years from now. It'd be Secret Wars.
So that's really interesting. I mean, I like what they're kind of doing with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Again, it looks like he's going to be the new Tony Stark. It's going to be the new
That's
Iron
weird
Man.
to me.
Yeah.
I don't love that.
But again, this is where it's like, this is MCU Spider-Man, which I'm okay because internally it makes sense.
Right. Yes.
Yes. Internally it makes sense. When you step back and you're like, but this isn't really the real Spider-Man or the spirit of Spider-Man.
Right.
But if they're going to do this huge crossover multiverse with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, then we get the closer representations of Spider-Man.
Yes. And then we're going to see Spider-Pig again.
I want Spider-Pig and I want Homer Simpson to show up.
And Spider-Noir.
Okay, Nicolas Cage. Come on.
Look, it was good.
No, I agree, but I'm just like, all right, Nicolas Cage was playing Nicolas Cage.
Oh, the bees.
It's like John Malkovich playing John Malkovich. Like every movie he's in, he's just John Malkovich.
He is so creepy. I love him. You know what I'd love to do? I'd love to get dessert with him. I don't know why. I just think it'd be great.
My favorite scene, I just thought about it, is if you've seen the movie Red, the first one, is when he has the pig. Talk about a pig, right? He's like, I'm going to get the pig. And then at some point, Bruce Willis's character yelled at John Malkovich for scaring a woman he thought was following them. And they turn around and look at him. He's just holding on to the pig and he's pouting. And it's so cute.
I think my favorite Malkovich scene with an animal is Con Air.
Oh,
or the bunny gets it.
He was Cyrus the Virus in that movie.
Put the bunny down. Yeah. I don't know, it was a horrible. Yours was so much better than mine.
Down. Well, plus he had a weird accent in that movie, anyways.
here's my best Nicolas Cage.
Again, that's another product of its time. Con Air.
It's an awful movie, but I love it.
I love that. It's like I love The Rock. Oh my God, that movie is so awesome.
Welcome to The Rock.
Yeah, I love it. And I love my favorite movie on the face of the planet, guys, is Hunt for Red October. Like
that is a product of its time, but if it was updated, it'd be like super dope. Just like at that time, it was like, oh wow, there's like this mind-breaking movie that's super dope. And it has Sean Connery.
I love Sean Connery.
That's pretty good.
He has a horrible Russian accent in that movie, but I love Sean Connery.
Is that what it was?
It was supposed to be Russian.
Honestly, I thought I was having a stroke. Boom, stroke jokes. That's right.
God.
Joe's got him.
One in.
I had to. Are you a stroke or brain injury survivor looking for community and support? Well, the NeuroNerds are here to help. Join our #UsoRock Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/UsoRock to connect with other survivors like you.
Plus, read other inspirational brain injury survivor stories on Joe's blog at josorocks.com/UsoRock. And submit your stories there as well. We want to hear them.
And remember, you so rock. Stop laughing at it.
So what are you looking forward to in the for Spider-Man movie and a possible multiverse?
I'm looking forward to the crossovers, like whatever they piece together. So I saw the Venom movie, and the Venom movie was if I knew nothing about Venom, wow, that was an entertaining movie.
Right.
I know a lot about Venom. And compared to that, it's hot garbage.
Agreed.
It just doesn't make sense.
No.
They don't have, it was just weird.
I was like, why is Venom the loser of his people? Like, come on.
It's Venom. So
like, let's promote mediocrity. Ew.
Basically the movie was as good as Tom Hardy's accent in the movie. Strange. That's what it was. Also, why does Venom look remarkably like Spider-Man? It doesn't make sense.
Correct.
Like I had the in Infinity War, there should have been a scene where there was like this little black goo on Spider-Man's costume. And it's like, okay, cool. Like he kind of bonded with Spider-Man at some point. And then that's why he decided to, like, when he's on Eddie Brock, he kind of looks like Spider-Man. Cause he's like, oh, I like this dude. He was cool.
Oh, okay.
So Venom, like there's the original trilogy. They wanted, the original script was like Venom was almost had like an obsessive relationship with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like he like felt scorned by him.
That's canon.
Which is what it should be. Like he was like, I want to be
Spider-Man
with him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that just sounds creepy.
Oh, there's fanfics about that.
Oh, So I'm really excited, I guess, to see that happen.
The possibility
of Venom come in. Also, how are you going to fit in the Avengers live in this world? The X-Men live in this world. Are there going to be like just in the background? It's like, oh, wow, that's Professor X.
Yeah. Or there has to be like, how can they acknowledge the tie-in, or how can they acknowledge like, oh yeah, the world was ending, but we didn't call any of the super
that always bugs me. But I think a lot of it's going to have to do with the snap. Yeah. See, because there was 3. The Thanos snap did some stuff. The Tony Stark snap did some stuff. The Hulk snap did some stuff. And then I think it's all going to be retcon and fixed in House of M, or not House of M, in Scarlet Vision series.
Hey, Vision didn't get brought back.
No, I think he's on a hard drive. I think Shuri has him on a hard drive. I
agree, but I'm just saying, like, he wasn't brought back. Him and Pietro were not brought back.
No, and that was a bummer. I always, honestly, from the beginning, I thought they were going to bring back.
I was hoping they would have done something else with Pietro, but
like what?
I don't know. Bring him back somehow.
Like make him married to his sister, like in Godzilla. That was so bizarre. So wait, so you mentioned Seoul University, right?
Yeah.
So if I went to Seoul University and I smoked a joint, would I have been soul stoned? Come on, that's an awful joke, but I've been thinking about it this entire time.
And on that note, very disappointing note.
Oh, come on, that beautiful, amazing Joe's a Nerd, and I'm very happy and excited and giddy to have you back here. Lauren, I love you so very much. I am so happy to be sitting across from you with this barrier and still fearing for my physical safety.
I am currently regretting life choices.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. On this beautiful, amazing note, welcome back, Lauren.
Yay.
We're all happy. Well, we all, yes. You all, yes. This dude, absolutely. Follow us at the NeuroNerds. Follow her at Lauren L. Manzano on Instagram. Follow me at JoSoRocks everywhere.
Yes.
As always, the NeuroNerds are here to help. On that beautiful note, these NeuroNerds are out.